As business owners, entrepreneurs, family men, it's difficult for us to find the time to put together projects like these. Even though it's something we really want to do, unfortunately, taking care of the things we have to take care of comes first. However, because of viewer support for people like you, we're able to continue doing this. Please consider joining our Patreon and supporting the Burn and Return podcast. You're listening to Burn and Return, a weekly 1-hour podcast covering news from the agricultural and turfgrass industries.
It's over. What are we doing? Hey, J Pink. Well, it's hey, everybody's here. So listen, we have spent a inordinate amount of time on the pre-show doing a deep dive into all things life, turf. We talked about various substances that can be absorbed into the body in a variety of different ways. I mean, there is a lot of good content there. And this episode here, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of like our season premiere. This is the March episode of Burn and Return. We'll probably do another one here, probably at least one more this month. We're kind of on a new calendar, and we'll be sharing that out. But tonight's episode is just a teaser because there's a lot of members only content that you can get from our pre-show. So if you want to check that out, check us out, www.patreon.com/burn and return. That's where you can get the nearly 2+ hour pre-show with Ray and Matt and me all jammering on about lots of things. But tonight's episode will be just our favorite segment for y'all to kick off the season. J Pink, go ahead and hit that sounder.
Jow knows turf. Hi, I'm Jow. I'm gonna give you a bunch of accurate turf facts today because Jow knows turf.
Well, gentlemen, it's spring, and in spring, hope reigns eternal. And, it's a time for planning. We talked a lot about that in the pre-show, planning and how to say yes and no and everything like that. And, just like any good orgy, you have to have a plan of how you're going to get fucked. And tonight, two of our Joe Knows Turf people are actually going to tell us specifically how they plan to fuck us this year. And I am so excited to see that. But first, a special guest on our Joe Knows Turf tonight, which is a triple header, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 3 for tonight. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be 2 hands free. We don't know about where the other 3 dicks are going to go. But again, we're here to plan and be told how this is going to go. So, without further ado, J Ping, why don't we kick off number 1 and get the teaser out here and see what's going on?
But Rob, back to your question, buddy. He says not a Biosolid fan, which I'm curious why. Why are you not a Biosolid fan? Just because there's a lot of carbon in that, and carbon's good for our soil. So I'm a huge Biosolid fan. I think it really contributes a lot to the composition of my soil. And do I use any natural?
Listen, if you don't want to have bacteria or living organisms in your soil, gentlemen, the question was posed here to the DIY lawn coach on his live podcast here recently. That a gentleman asked him, he says, "Hey, I'm not a huge fan of the biosolids. Do you use any natural fertilizers?" And you fair and legitimate question. Now, you would think that somebody that labels themselves as a coach might understand, some of the nature and issues that are currently, and when I say current, I'm going to say in the last, what do you say, guys? At least going back 3-4 years, right? That it started to become, hey, this is a known issue.
Sure. Emergent issue. Yeah, it's an emergent issue, Ryan.
100%.
Yeah. Plenty of time to get prepared. But right now, the biggest detractor that we can find is that it's got too much carbon, guys. Too much carbon for that soil.
That's
Hmm.
that, and that is the only issue he can bring up. I mean, my goodness, you see, when he
It's not the
mentioned
wart.
carbon,
Go-
it's not
Yeah.
the worst thing. Carbon is not the worst thing. I'm thinking more like, what happens when something is a fluorinated hydrocarbon?
Yeah, this would be like saying that, it's not so much the problem that, the genitals have warts on them, that could, hurt you for a long period of time. It's so much that they have too much flesh. Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah,
basically the
yeah.
argument that we're getting into. So, for those of you that have
What?
fleshy genitals, don't take that as a negative, you know? Take it for what
Oh,
it is. It's positive.
I got to know, Demay, like, if you haven't heard about this, what do you do in your day to day? What does that look like? I'm not gonna lie,
Ah,
it's
I
it's
got it.
mainstream enough that you're at least in your periphery aware.
I would think, and I don't know. I'm purely hypothesizing here. Is that I would question your sources of information, right? And I would
Yeah.
suspect that many of the sources of information that you're consuming to spout out an opinion like this at this stage in the game, so to speak, would be that it is largely commercial and marketing material, and that's the nature of what you're getting your information from. Because you're right, like, you could literally type in biosolids fertilizer right now. Let's do it. Let's just do that for fun.
Yeah, that's a
Into
good
the old
point.
Google machine. Solids,
Fire,
fertilizer.
fire, fire, fire up the Google. See what
Okay,
comes
number
out.
1 is good. Basic information,
Yep.
Mhm.
good. Synagro, okay, we're getting into there.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
The
oh,
Guardian. The
oh,
Guardian's
oh,
there.
yeah,
already.
that was mine too. Oh, the
Gar,
next one,
gar,
Yep, there's a
next
couple
and
one.
YouTube
then
videos.
Reddit.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It
Is
is not
Driver in there?
good. No, it is not good when the EPA has a basic information page on a material. That is not a good sign, guys.
Yeah. Again,
And
going back.
Wash,
Go ahead.
Washington State Department of Ecology. Oh, you do not want to be on Washington State's radar. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Washington State puts all fertilizer materials and materials sold as soil amendments through exhaustive and extensive analysis and testing,
Mhm.
So basically
including
what you're saying is if you end up in or on that website, you probably have fucked up somewhere.
yep,
Ah,
or
Like,
or if you
again,
haven't
to go back to go
or
ahead. Go ahead.
if you haven't fucked up, the whole point is that if you're in Washington State's radar, your product, your material has been extensively tested for both guaranteed analysis plus materials of interest that are not declared on that product label.
yeah, yeah.
Ah, yeah. It it it's like
If you can test for it.
it's like that textbook from health class sophomore year. If you end up in some of those color pictures and that's what you're seeing on your body, it's probably not a good thing, okay?
Not a good
So,
sign.
just
Just saying.
you can take that one to the bank. All right, now let's see what else he says here real quick.
Fertilizers. That's something I have never used. Isn't well, I guess malorganite, right? That's natural, because it is a biosolid.
Ah, well,
Okay.
But natural fertilizers, I've never used a natural fertilizer outside of like black cow or something. I guess because that's manure. That would be natural, but nothing marketed or labeled as natural. I can tell you there are some major players in the fertilizer game that are working on natural fertilizers. I can't go too much into detail about it, but you stick around the channel,
Major
you might
players.
find some new information out about natural fertilizers. maybe the one that Pete puts out. Is Pete's working on a natural one? I think I haven't really seen it, but I'm not. I like what I like when it comes to fertilizers.
Define natural. Like that's such a
but
vague answer. Define natural.
I mean, to me, I think you've got, you could say, I guess you could say, I don't know, the milorganite natural. This is semantics to me, but
It is.
it,
Is he
it's
talking
not
just like
organic.
animal manure? You know?
Yeah.
So he's saying not organic, but would classify as natural, right? So
Mhm.
if you did
Mhm.
Chilean nitrate, mined Chilean nitrate with hepatite clay, I've just made that up, whatever, and fucking feather meal, then you'll get a natural classification. Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Mined mineral, that's quote unquote natural. But then, guys, do you know what else is a natural mined mineral that you don't want to mess with, even though it's natural?
Uranium?
Yeah, uranium. I mean, because, by the way, guys, what popped up on my feed is this guy that goes exploring in former uranium mines. He calls himself Radioactive Drew.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, yeah. This
Dude,
guy's a
what?
trip. Yeah, this guy is a trip. I mean, Radioactive Drew. I mean,
I know what Matt's watching on the way to
he-
work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Radioactive
and-
Drew?
yeah, him.
Holy shit. I've never heard of
even-
this guy. It sounds incredible.
No, and he even pokes around in like decommissioned nuclear sites. Let's see. I also see him like going into antique shops, and the reason why he goes into antique shops is because you can find glass and pottery pieces that were infused with uranium. There's a such thing as uranium glass, and that uranium glass is this fluorescent green color that you hit that with UV light that some bitch glows. And then there's the orange what is that, these bright orange plates and cups and mugs. Danger. Those plates, cups, and mugs will peg a Geiger counter because the glaze is uranium.
There's a lot of things for Drew to be worried about in his life, but one thing that he's not going to have to worry about, guys,
What's
is
that?
boron levels. He's fine. He's okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's
For
gonna
sure.
be. He's gonna be okay.
Nailed it.
Let's go ahead and slip over to number 2. DIY lawn coach. I don't know where we're going. All right, so here's Ron.
Time's up. It's over.
And Ron is excited to tell us about all the liquid fertilizers that you should be spraying on your lawn and soil right now. He's going to talk about this.
In this video, I'm going to walk through how I mix up the 901C carbon kit from the Golf Course Lawn Store, along with a little bit of micronutrient. So what I'm using today for applying the products is a 4-gallon backpack sprayer. This is one that we carry on the Golf Course Lawn Store, but I mean, any sprayer that you guys have will work.
Pause.
Amount of
Any sprayer that you have will work as long as you put down this bullshit that I sell on my website. Now, that being said, gentlemen, let me set the scene for the folks that are audio only. Ron is out in his backyard. The yard is dormant as fuck. That's about the best I can describe it right now.
Yep.
Bermuda
Yep.
is not doing anything right now. And
Mhm.
so we are applying this 901C, which is a 901 analysis, along with some micronutrients. And then he's going to tell us about these little goodies he's got to put in there, guys.
This is the difference maker right here.
You can
Yeah.
feel it, can't you?
The
Through the
DM.
screen.
product that you're going to see me mixing up assumes that you're going to be creating 4 gallons of solution, which will go over 4,000 square feet. So again, just adjust the numbers to fit whatever you happen to be spraying on your lawn. My entire lawn is around 12,000 square feet, so it takes 3 of these, 3 tankfuls of this to spray the entire lawn. So we'll kind of walk through it.
I was told there would be no
So
math.
the first thing that I do, so there's a couple different components of the carbon kit. You have Release 901C, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum. I like 901C to start the season out because it's a little bit less nitrogen than some of the other fertilizers that we carry. So it's a
game changer. Total
easy, gentle way to wake the lawn up. The rates for these, for the carbon kit.
Now, I do want you to take note of that. He said that's a lower nitrogen number, okay, and he wants to be careful with that. So we'll see why that's important when we watch our third and final video. But go ahead.
Are 3 ounces per 1,000, 3 ounces per 1,000, and then if you're adding micronutrient, this is 6 ounces per 1,000. But whenever I'm mixing this, I first like to start out with Biospectrum. Biospectrum is a microbial powder that helps enhance the fertilizer uptake in your soil. So when it comes to this, you would not add this directly to the sprayer. So what I do is I get a cup, add some water to it. It doesn't really matter how much. You just need to.
Ray, what would you say that the level of fertilizer? I think he said absorption. I can't remember if that's the actual word he used, but even though that's incorrect, but if he's talking about going in the soil, because that's what this biospectrum stuff's for. At what rate would you expect the dormant Bermuda grass to be taking up any fertilizer right now?
0.00000. Okay, Ryan,
and that's repeating, guys. If you're writing down the math here, if you're staying with us here.
Yeah, 0. And I'm not making this up myself. Yeah, but I'm not making this up because right now I can message at least 3 guys in Ron Henry's area, Matt. I can message 3 guys in Ron Henry's area, and they can confirm that their Bermuda is not doing anything right now. It's still dormant. I mean, these guys, all they're worried about right now are cleaning up wintertime weeds, maybe, but then adding nutrients, microbials, organic matter, biostimulants is.
Oh no, Ray got cut off.
They zapped him.
So now what's interesting
damn time.
They do. When he gets going, when he gets rolling, that's when it happens. All right, play the video just a couple more, just another minute here. Let's see what he's
have some water in a measuring cup to be able to get the solution suspended. So what I use is a little plastic spoon and about a level spoon of Biospectrum. So you'll see.
Get that spoon.
So I can show you guys. About that much. About that much is what will go into 4 gallons of water. So we'll add that. Close this off, and then
my wife and I
use your spatula, get it all nicely suspended. I've already pre-filled the sprayer about 2/3 full with water. So if you're doing this, you don't want to add these products to an empty spray tank. You want to ensure that there's some water in here. Anywhere between half full to 3/4 full is a good number to go with. So we get Biospectrum nicely mixed up. Create like an intermediate solution, like what you've got here. As you can see, that's how it looks when it's all suspended.
Oh man.
And then we'll just add that to the tank. Like so. All right, so now we'll go through and start adding the other parts of it. So again, Release 901C, 3 ounces per 1,000. So because I'm going to be adding that to 4 gallons of water over 4,000 square feet, I'm gonna use a total of 12 ounces of Release 901C. So let's see if we can
12 ounces.
So we can hit this on camera. We can get pretty close. Should make sure this is nice and level here. A level spot of the table. And
pause.
Put your face in it.
Why would that spot be level, but the spot 12 inches away not be level? Does that make any sense?
You know, it's taking into account the warping that's occurred there from
curvature of the Earth.
Yeah. Is Ron a flat earther? Just be real.
I have no idea. So Ron's whole premise here is you got to get some carbon in the soil. You got to get some bacteria in there. So
Yep.
and you want your nitrogen level to be low. Now, he's in warm season country, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. But let's go watch video number 3 and hear from our favorite serial domestic abuser. By the way, you can check him out, www.serialdomesticabuser.com. We didn't make the video, he did, and it's his fault for being caught on camera committing what would be in most states a felony, I think, but it's not for us to decide. So, let's go ahead and watch this one from our friend Pest and Lawn Ginja.
You're gonna do your first fertilizer application of the year, but you're not too sure what to apply. We're gonna go over just that. When you take a look around, you got all these lawns just super brown and you're not too sure what to do. What I'm gonna say might surprise you, but the best thing that you could do is fertilize your lawn. Now there's a right way and there's also a wrong way. Now if you have one of these lawns like mine, that's just got a ton of dead tissue on the lawn, spraying fertilizer on your lawn is going to be least effective because all this material that you're seeing that's brown, it's dead, it's dormant, it's not alive, it's not going to take the fertilizer through the plant. So the next best option is to use a granular fertilizer. But what are you gonna wanna use? Well, it all depends on the region that you're in. Now, if you're in a region where the soil temperatures are above 50 degrees, you can use a balanced fertilizer for your region. You can hang out at the Home Depot, the Lowe's, wherever you want to go and just buy the numbers on the bag. But the primary number that we want to focus on, no matter what region that you're in, focusing on the first number on the bag. My region has next to no nitrogen. That first number represents nitrogen, second number represents phosphorus, and the third number represents potassium.
Bray, you're back. Pest and Lawn Ginja just told us that his area of the country has next to no nitrogen in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we're going here. He also says that you gotta fertilize your lawn in the spring, and you got to use granular. You don't want to use foliar because that all that dead tissue up on top, the brown grass. Even if you got cool season and kind of a high desert climate, kind of like what he's in there or whatever. So
it's still dormant,
he's saying
Ryan.
don't spray that. But Ron just told us that go ahead and let her rip. Who's right here?
I think with the case of both are equally wrong, and I'm having to ask questions about what is the value of pushing high rates of nitrogen on a cool season turf in his area of Utah at this time of the year.
Well, I think he's going to try and tell us because he's got a whole bunch of reasons why, and it gets progressively worse. So let's listen.
Potassium. We can use a fertilizer with pre-emergent or a fertilizer without pre-emergent. Now we'll get to that debate here in just a little bit. There's a couple of things that you're going to notice on the bag of fertilizer that I have. It is a 2000, meaning its primary fertilizer is a nitrogen called ammonium sulfate. Now if you're in an area like mine where our sulfur levels are very low, ammonium sulfate is a fantastic product to use. It's going to pull down the pH a little bit. So if you're in an area like Oregon where your pH levels are really low, sitting between a 4.5 and a 5.5, you're going to want to be using an ammonium nitrate. So knowing your pH is a very handy.
Pause.
What did he say? You want to be using a who?
He said if you are in a area like I think he says Oregon and some other places that are like a 4.5, basically low pH, that you want to use ammonium nitrate.
Ammonium? Guys, look, I'm a
we need to talk about hydrogen
chemist
ions.
Yeah. Just saying. Maybe that's what he's doing. Potential hydrogen. pH, you add H's, the pH going up. Does that you're adding H's, the pH is going up. That's how it works.
Just for those of you scoring at home, it is not the sulfate in the ammonium sulfate that does any of the goddamn work related to lowering pH in the soil. In fact,
That's right.
it's the ammonium, right, Ray? Real quick, 30 seconds or less. How's that ammonium do that job for us? Ray's dead again.
Ray. Gosh damn it.
Goddamn, they got him again. All right, so real quick,
free hydrogen goes up from the processing of ammonium. I don't even know what the process is called. I can't remember. But it's NH4. If you can visualize NH4, and it's going to move over to NO3, then NO4. So you're exchanging oxygen for hydrogen. Go ahead, Ray. You're back.
You're adding what's called H plus ion, and H plus that is the key component that determines acidity, because H plus is acidic, OH is alkaline, and sulfate is completely neutral unless it is attached to ammonium.
So, Ray, just to clarify, if you were in a low pH situation, as Ginja just described, would you apply ammonium nitrate or not?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't apply ammonium
Hmm.
nitrate. And the reason why not ammonium nitrate is because ammonium nitrate still donates those H plus ions when it is applied. It is almost as acidifying as ammonium sulfate.
Aha.
Okay, it's
Well,
almost as acidic. And on top of that, you have ammonium nitrate. You just got yourself a place on the ATF watch list.
The federal watch list.
yeah, I was gonna say, good old Tim McVeigh kind of ruined that for everybody, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
He did.
yeah.
All right,
We got
let's not forget Terry Nichols too. Terry Nichols, also a piece of shit. So, all right, let's go ahead and play that video.
Tool to have, and it's as simple as taking a pH test or using a tool that measures pH in the soil. You can get them off of Amazon, Temu, wherever you think is best. Just make sure you read the
later on, J Pink, we'll have to get that clip of using a tool, please. All right, continue.
reviews on which one that you like best. I'll post one in the description of the video if you need some help with that. The preferred type of nitrogen that we're gonna want this time of the year is an ammoniacal nitrogen. It's a little bit more safe for pH balanced lawns. When you get into the sulfur, if you have high sulfur already, you kind of have some adverse reactions. The soil can get a little hard. The type of fertilizer that you want to avoid, if your soil temps are below 50 degrees, is urea. Urea comes from a gas state and it wants to go back to a gas state. So we don't have a lot of microbiology movement. It's really not going to do much. You're going to lose about 60% of what you put down to volatilization.
Making it up.
You're going to want to do at least half a pound of
pause. So, if you caught what he said there, well, tell me what you heard, because I don't think you heard the back end of that comment. Actually,
Well, I
just
just
play
where
that
he-
back. Go slide back. Go back 30 seconds. Go
Let's do
back
that.
30 seconds, and let's listen in real close. There we go.
Balanced lawns. When you get into the sulfur, if you have high sulfur already, you kind of have some adverse reactions. The soil can get a little hard. The type of fertilizer that you want to avoid, if your soil temps are below 50 degrees, is urea. Urea comes from a gas state and it wants to go back to a gas state. So we don't have a lot of microbiology movement. It's really not going to do much. You're going to lose about 60% of what you put down to volatilization. You're going to want to do at least half a pound of nitrogen per
in the winter.
I was going to say, Ray, what would be in a area like this that's got very low humidity, and the temperatures right now? Let's see here.
Like in the 40s, 30s, and 40s, Matt.
50. Yeah, it was a little warm today. They had 54 degrees. What would be your rate of volatilization?
Minimal.
Single-digit percentages. Fair?
Single-digit percentages at best, because what drives urea volatility is higher temperatures. So
and humidity, right?
And humidity. So your ideal condition for having urea volatilize is, say, high temperatures and a lot of water present. Like summertime in the Midwest, for example. That would be a condition where your urea would become volatile, but then I don't see it in high desert Utah. I don't see it.
And so he's making the case that, yeah, you're going to lose it to volatilization. He mentions microbial activity. And again, for those of you at home, urea needs an enzyme called urease to break down, and you do need higher soil temperature. So the whole idea, though, that you're going to lose urea to volatility in conditions like this is simply not true. I mean, the guy has either fucked up his script or he's talking out his ass. Let's continue, though.
Per 1,000 square feet. So mathematically, it's pretty simple. We're going to divide 100 by the bag number. So 100 divided by 20 is 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. That gets you to 1 pound of nitrogen. We're going to divide that by 2 for your Kentucky bluegrasses and your zoysia to really give it a boost. Now, if you guys have perennial ryegrass and a lot of your species of turf type tall fescue, a little bit more sensitive to nitrogen, start out with a quarter of a pound at about 1 pound per 1,000 square feet.
Pause.
Now you can afford to put this down.
Okay, 2 things on this. Number 1 is there's no cool season grass. Maybe a new lawn, but certainly not in early March. Just about anywhere in the country that's north of the Mason-Dixon line, that would need anywhere close to a half a pound of nitrogen at this stage in the year. Now, you'll get lawn care companies that do it in a combo product, and there's coated sources, everything like that. But to say that we need a quick release source like ammonium sulfate or urea to come out and go at a half a pound is simply fucking wrong. I'll just go ahead and say it that clearly. Now, more to the point, if you're some dipshit that says, oh, hey, you've got tall fescue or something like that that needs less, not only are you adding nitrogen to a system that doesn't need it, can't process it, and surely you're going to lose more, not to volatilization, but to off-target effects like water leaching, things like that, right? Doing what your neighbor Jimmy did and just let it go down the goddamn storm sewer. That as it may. The issue of trying to spread evenly 1 pound of nitrogen with that size of a prill out of a spreader that you're going to use on a homeowner situation is absolutely unachievable. And it's going to fuck somebody up and cause some problems. So again, you either fucked up your script or you're talking out your ass. All right, let's continue.
Ouch.
Down once every 2 weeks until it starts greening up at these levels, which is the nice thing. You just don't want to go above 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Otherwise, we run the risk of environmental hazards, leaching, things like that.
Back
so
up,
we want to be very careful.
again.
But more importantly,
He's saying to go every 2 weeks.
square
Did he
feet.
really just
Now
say-
you can afford to
think he
put
did.
this down once every 2
Yes.
weeks.
When
Yep.
it's
Nitrogen. Start out with a
Holy
quarter
fucking
out
cheap shit,
of
boys.
a pound, at about 1 pound
Goodness
per 1,000
me.
square feet. Now you can afford to put this down once every 2 weeks until it starts greening up at
God,
What?
man, what an absolute idiotic boy.
Matt, you know what?
Boy.
Look at this. He's tripping. Matt, he's tripping. And okay,
The fucking grass is going to
J-Pink-
need some benzos here.
No, J-Pink pointed out something. He said, "My God, his head, his face has swole up. Look at this, Matt.
Hey, I mean, he, you can see it. I don't know what's going on there, but
And
some
it can't be
shit.
good.
I
Can't be
don't
good.
worry about
I mean,
the guy. Actually, I don't worry
Yeah.
about the guy. I'm going to be honest. I really don't give a shit. But he's got to look
Let's
to
let
him.
him
doesn't he?
finish out. Let's let him finish out here.
at these levels, which is the nice thing. You just don't want to go above 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Otherwise, we run the risk of environmental hazards, leaching, things like that. So we want to be very careful. But more importantly, we don't want to burn the lawn. Now, I hope that makes sense. Now, let's dive into the with pre-emergent or without. Now, the pre-emergent, meaning pre-emerging weeds, starts now. Soil temperatures need to be below 50 degrees, hence the word pre. Germination. If you don't put it down at the right time, the product doesn't work. If you're putting the product down during the germination process, meaning the seed is going to bud, it's game over. You just wasted a ton of money. So you want to, again, take a meat thermometer, stick it in the ground, and make sure that you're within those temperatures. So
yeah,
here's my
just
general
stick
thumb.
a meat thermometer.
The negatives are this. You're going to get a little bit of root curling. That's just a side effect of using pre-emergent. So you're not going to obtain the best of
root curling
when using pre-emergent. But here's the deal. If you've had a monster amount of weeds over the last 2 years, by all means, use the pre-emergent.
What kind of weeds?
And my suggestion is to go at the labeled rates on the bag, which is usually at the 1
kind
pound of
weeds?
nitrogen
That's my next
rate
question.
on the bag per 1,000 square feet. And you're going to want to do that in the springtime and also in the late summertime as well. Now, pre-emergent is kind of interesting, right? Let's talk about this. We've got our annual and our biennial weeds. Our annual weeds.
He said you apply pre-emergent in the late summer as well, Ryan.
He's trying to go after POA, is what he's going to Ryan say, is that he's going after early germinating POA, and that is a fool's errand to try and do. But go on.
Spring, our biennial weeds already germinated last spring and fall time most likely, and they're still going to pop up. So even though you apply your pre-emergent now, you're still gonna see some of your biennial weeds popping up here and there, like your bindweed, purslane, you've got some dandelions as well. But this is exactly where we want to begin. If you guys have any other questions?
You know, I always try to get my prodiamine out early for the dandelions. You know, those perennial weeds, picking those up with the pre-emergent. That's a solid herbicide management plan right there. You know, in fact, guys, I might use herbicides and pesticides this year to get rid of all my weeds.
Why? Demay.
Was there anything that he said that was correct in this video? I've got to say, coming from him, you know, I felt like this was a Sistine Chapel video, and this is Ginja's Michelangelo moment. You know, for a career that was filled with great and seminal works of art of just absolute butchery of all turf grass management principles and best management practices, he has taken 6 minutes of our time to completely mindfuck us, plan out the orgy all the way through of not only how to fuck us, but how to fuck his lawn up. And you know what? I got to give him credit for it. I've not seen one this bad in quite some time. And I don't know that anybody will be able to top this much unfactual and incorrect information in one 6-minute video this year in lawn care YouTube. And I challenge somebody to fucking try, because I think you'll have to try. He doesn't have to. It's effortless with him. And God bless him for being able to do that and having that gift about him. But he needs to go, and in the words of our good friend Jesse Bousquet, he needs to get fucked. So, Ginja, the next time we see you will be at www.serialdomesticabuser.com. Check it out. Send it to your friends. And go ahead and drop that in his comments on the page. Gentlemen, that is how you kick off the 2025 season on Burn and Return.
Jeez.
We'll see you all on the next one. Bye.
Bye.